Hello dear students, welcome to today's English grammar class. Hope all of you are keeping well and staying safe in your home and learning the lessons well, watching the online classes and attending Google Meets. So in between all these rushes, don't forget about English grammar because it is very important, which will definitely help you to improve your language and attend your exams more fruitfully. Okay? So in the previous class, we learned about, you remember, active voice, passive voice. And in the previous class, it was about how to change into passive imperative sentences and WH questions and yes or no questions. Hope you understood it well, okay? And I had given you certain exercises and here are the answers, just to go through that, okay? You can check it with your answers. And if you have any doubt, please ask me. Please feel free to call me, okay, dear students. Okay, now today I am going to deal with something different, okay, and it is very important in view of your SSLC examination, your final examinations, okay. That is what we call if clause or conditional clause. In the small classes, maybe 8th or 9th, you have already learned it, or you learn it in small classes. But I just a thought of giving you again. Okay, let's go through that. You might have forgotten it. Okay, we don't keep in mind our grammar theories, rules. And the mathematical equations we don't keep in our mind. Okay, sometimes it happens. So let us see what is if clause and conditional clause. You know the meaning of conditions. We all make conditions. Your parents make conditions. Maybe those who are studying in 10th, the parents might have already made a condition. If you get full A+ in 10th class, definitely we will buy and give you a new mobile phone or a new bicycle, or some parents might have said maybe a new scooty, maybe something like that, okay. Or if you get a full A+, we will take you for a tour or picnic to somewhere, okay. So we all make conditions, and how many conditions are there mainly in English grammar? That's what we are going to see. Let us analyze these sentences, okay. There are 3 sentences I am giving you. If you study well, this is I am giving in a context when we meet you, when we teachers meet you on the first day of your 10th class. നിങ്ങളുടെ 10ാം ക്ലാസ്സിൽ നിങ്ങൾ ആദ്യം കാണുമ്പോൾ പറയുന്ന രീതിയിലും അതുപോലെ 10ാം ക്ലാസ്സിൽ പറയുന്ന ഒരു 3 സെൻറ്റൻസുകളാണ് ഞാൻ എടുത്തേക്കുന്നത്. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് കേട്ട് ഫെമിലിയർ ആയതായിരിക്കും. ദാറ്റ്സ് വൈ. Or you will hear that, okay. Though when you come to the school with the first day, it was supposed to be on June 1st, but unfortunately this year we couldn't. What we might say, if you study well, dear students, you will get full A+. Okay, that's what we used to say. You will get full A+. And when you near the examination, maybe by March, I don't know this year when it would be, maybe May or June or there may be, I'm not sure. So we would say, if you studied well, you would get full A+. ഒരു പരീക്ഷയോട് അടുക്കുന്ന അല്ലെങ്കിൽ പരീക്ഷ എഴുതാൻ പോകുന്നതിൻ്റെ തലേദിവസമൊക്കെ പറയാവുന്ന ഒരു ഡയലോഗാണ്. And when you finish the exam and when you come after the result to get your SSLC book and the TC from the school, this may be the sentence to some, not to everyone, maybe to few. We may be saying the same dialogue. If you had studied well, you would have got full A+. If you had studied well, you would have got full A+. Okay. Let us analyze that. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? Okay, each sentence we will analyze. And you will learn what is your if clause. It's going to be very simple. So the first type of sentence is called a probable condition. What is that? Let us see. Okay. So first sentence was, if you study well, you will get full A+. If you study well, you will get full A+. Let me tell you, there are 2 parts in it. One is, if you study well, Okay. Second is you will get full A plus. This the part that containing if is called if clause, and this is main clause. You will get full A plus, that is main clause. Okay. And if clause, you know, it is not complete. If you study well, it needs the support of something else. This is the main clause. It can stand by itself. You will get full A plus. അപ്പോൾ അതിൻ്റെ രണ്ട് പാർട്ടുകൾ, if clause പാർട്ടും മെയിൻ ക്ലോസ് പാർട്ടും. ഇതിലെ വെർബുകൾ ശ്രദ്ധിക്കുക. ഞാൻ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് എളുപ്പത്തിനോട് ഹൈലൈറ്റ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഐ ഹാവ് ഹൈലൈറ്റഡ് ഇറ്റ് ഹിയർ. ഹിയർ ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് സ്റ്റഡി. if ക്ലോസിൻ്റെ അകത്ത് വെർബ് സ്റ്റഡിയും മെയിൻ ക്ലോസിൻ്റെ അകത്ത് വെർബ് വിൽ ഗെറ്റ് ആണ്. ഇതൊക്കെ ഏത് ടെൻസുകളാണെന്ന് അറിയാമോ? ഡു യു നോ? പ്ലീസ് ടെൽ മീ. വിച്ച് ടെൻസ് ഈസ് ദിസ് സ്റ്റഡി? See, study is simple present tense. Okay? Or we can say present tense. Will get simple future, you know. You have learned already in grammar, or you have watched it in my grammar video classes. Okay? So, this is simple present and this is simple future. So, what you have to keep in mind, in the first type of conditional clause or the probable conditional clause, the verb in the if clause is in the present tense. അത് നിങ്ങൾ ശ്രദ്ധിക്കുക. if clause-ൻ്റെ അകത്തെ ടെൻസ് ഏതാണ്? പ്രസൻറ്റ് ടെൻസ് ആണ്. ആൻഡ് the main clause is in future tense. The will plus v1. അതിനകത്ത് can ആകാം, may ആകാം. എന്താണ്? ഫ്യൂച്ചർ ആണ് ഇൻഡിക്കേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. സിമ്പിൾ ഫ്യൂച്ചർ. ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് ഫ്യൂച്ചർ. ഓക്കെ. സിമ്പിൾ ഫ്യൂച്ചർ ആണ്. will plus v1 ആണ്. ഫ്യൂച്ചർ ആണ്, നിങ്ങൾക്ക് അറിയാം. can, may ഒക്കെ വരാം. ഓക്കെ. ആൻഡ് ദ ഐഡിയ ഈസ് പ്രോബബിൾ. ഇതിൽ കൺവേ ചെയ്യുന്ന, ഈ കണ്ടീഷനിൽ കൺവേ ചെയ്യുന്ന ഐഡിയ, ഇതിൽ ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്ന ഐഡിയ, ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് പ്രോബബിൾ. എല്ലാ സാധ്യതയുണ്ട്. ബിക്കോസ് ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് എ ബിഗിനിങ് ഓഫ് ദ ഇയർ, യു ക്യാൻ സ്റ്റഡി വെൽ, യു ക്യാൻ ഗെറ്റ് ഗുഡ് മാർക്സ്. ഓക്കെ. ഇഫ് യു സ്റ്റഡി വെൽ, യു വിൽ ഗെറ്റ് ഫുൾ A പ്ലസ്. ഓക്കെ. എക്സാമിന് നിങ്ങൾ എക്സാം ബേസ് ചെയ്ത് ഞാൻ പറയുകയാണെങ്കിൽ അത് നിങ്ങൾ ഓർക്കേണ്ട കാര്യം, ചിലപ്പോൾ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഈ ഫസ്റ്റ് പാർട്ടായിരിക്കും തരിക. ഇഫ് യു സ്റ്റഡി വെൽ, ഇത് മാത്രമായിരിക്കും തരിക. ആൻഡ് എ ഡാഷ് വിൽ ബി ദർ. സോ യു ഹാവ് ടു ചെക്ക് ദ വെർബ് ആൻഡ് യു ഫൈൻഡ് ഇഫ് എ വെർബ് ഈസ് പ്രസന്റ് ടെൻസ്, ഹിയർ ഇറ്റ് ഷുഡ് ബി ഫ്യൂച്ചർ. ഇത് മാത്രമാണ് തരുന്നത് നോക്കുക. മെയിൻ ക്ലോസ് ഒരു ഡാഷ് ഇവിടെ തന്നിച്ച് യു വിൽ ഗെറ്റ് എന്നാണ് കൊടുത്തിരിക്കുന്നത്. ഒരു ഈഫ് തന്നിട്ട് പിന്നെ ഡാഷ് ആയിരിക്കും കൊടുക്കുക, പിന്നെ ഇത് തരും. ദെൻ യു ഹാവ് ടു റൈറ്റ് എ സെൻറ്റൻസ് using simple present. Okay, like this. Okay. If you drop the plate, it will break. If you drop is present tense, it is future. If you don't take medicine, you won't get well. Okay. If you don't take medicine, you won't get well. So here, if you don't take medicine, you won't get well. Okay. That means you just note the tense. Okay. If you don't take present, it is a future. Okay. This is what we have to learn. Okay. Let us move to the next one, that is what we call improbable condition. That is the second one. Okay. You remember the sentence, if you studied well, you would get full A plus. Not the if clause. If you studied well, there are two parts. If you studied well, you would get full A plus. Just note the tenses. Studied, verb, which is a tense and which is this one. Studied, you know, it is V2 form, simple past tense. Okay. And would plus V1. So what we can understand from here, in the second type of conditional clause, or the improbable conditional clause, the verb in the if clause is in the past tense and the verb in the main clause will be would plus V1. It can be could or might. Okay. അപ്പോൾ ഇതിൽ if clauseൽ ഇത് past tense ആണെങ്കിൽ ഇവിടെ wouldൻ്റെ കൂടെ V1 ആയിരിക്കും. would, could or might ഏത് വേണമെങ്കിലും ഉപയോഗിക്കാം. And what is the speciality of the idea? Idea is improbable. So I told you, we may be saying this dialogue when you are going to write the exam. If you studied well, you would get full A plus. Chances are very, very minimum. If you studied well, okay, that is a condition. If you studied, അതിനൊരു ഇംപ്രോബിൾ എന്ന് ശരിക്കും നമുക്ക് പറയാൻ പറ്റത്തില്ല. ഇഫ് യു സ്റ്റഡീഡ്, പഠിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ, ഇഫ് you studied well, you would get full A plus. You would get. Okay. Okay. Improbable. Okay. See the examples. If it rained, you would get wet. If it rained. പെയ്തിട്ടില്ല പെയ്താൽ you would get wet. That's not a possibility. Okay. You would get. If they were present, they would be happy. Well, no, there's no possibility in that. Okay. If they were present. Okay. So in exam you will get like this. If you studied well, you have to understand. If it is past tense, here it should be would plus V1 or could plus V1 or might plus V1. Vice versa. If here it is would plus V1, you have to use here past tense. That's what we have to keep in mind. In keeping in mind, focusing on the examination. Okay. Now let us move to the third one. What is the third sentence? It is called the impossible condition. If you had studied well, you would have got full A plus. Okay. There are two parts. If you had studied well, you would have got. If clause is, which tense is had studied and which is would have got. Had studied, you know, it is past perfect tense. Had plus V3. Would have plus V3. Would have got. Would have plus V3. Would have plus V3. It is would have plus V3. So what we can say in the third type or impossible conditional clause, the verb in the if clause is in the past perfect tense. Had plus V3 and the verb in the main clause is would have plus V3. And the condition is impossible. ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞായിരുന്നു SLC ബുക്ക് മേടിക്കാൻ വരുമ്പോൾ പറയുന്നതായിരിക്കും. കാരണം if you are studied well, നന്നായിട്ട് പഠിച്ചിരുന്നെങ്കിൽ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് A plus കിട്ടുമായിരുന്നു. Okay, it's not possible now. Okay, maybe you can go for an improvement. But as per now, it is impossible. If you had studied well, you would have got. Okay, and see, if I had won the lottery, I would have bought 2 cars. Not bought. It's not possible now. Okay. If he had been here, there wouldn't have been a fight. അവനുണ്ടായിരുന്നെങ്കിൽ ഇവിടെ ഒരു ഫൈറ്റ് ഉണ്ടാവില്ലായിരുന്നു. But he is not here, there was a fight. Impossible. So what you have to keep in mind, when you get a if clause like this, you have to use here would have plus V3. Otherwise, if you get would have plus V3 here, you have to use here if you had studied. Past perfect ഇവിടെ ഉപയോഗിക്കണം. ഇവിടെ ഇതായിരിക്കണം. ഇത്രയും കാര്യം മനസ്സിൽ വെച്ചാൽ മതി. Okay? And I am giving you some exercises just to match this one. I am not going to ask you write it. You can just match it. There are two sets I have given you. You can just pause the video and note down these exercises. And if you have any doubt, please call me. Feel free to call me. You have to learn it must. Okay. It is very important for your exams as well. In your PSC examinations, in all your competitive examinations, you get conditional clauses. So learn it very well. Thank you, dear students, for watching. Stay in your home. Be safe. Have a nice day.